Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bad Dad from Huddle Hogs. Bear with me today. In today's video, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Um, Caught a little, I don't know, cold or something. But, anyways, I pretty much slept in all this morning except for when I woke up to find that Kin was again a little bit further in the red. That didn't stop me from buying. I accumulated more. I've got a lot of Kin, and I don't plan on selling it for any of these cheap low end prices. This coin has got a lot of utility, and let's dive into the chart and let you see what I am seeing RSI and price action wise. So today I'm saying that it is oversold, heavily oversold, due to the fact that the RSI is now starting to push through underneath the bottom range on the daily time scale. So you're starting to see that it's making lower lows on the RSI along with it correlated with the price action, right? Now that, most people will be like, well, how about bear debt? How about it not being a bear market, right? Maybe this is the sign of a bear market. Well, that is typical signs of bear markets, right? When you typically punch underneath. But even in bear markets, you come straight back out of it. Even in this instance right here, back in September 8th of 2018, once you've pushed through, right, you've pushed back up. So there is a upside to all these, what they call a relief rally eventually, right? But if this was just Kin alone, or if this was happening across all the markets, then I would be somewhat concerned. I guess concern is a little bit too much as an overstatement. I would be probably less willing to buy the dips as we continue to push down. I'd probably wait and spread it out a little bit further. But if you look at XRP, you can see that on its daily chart, it's not even hit the bottom yet. It did hit here, but it did push back up and did not come back down and start pushing underneath. If you look at Bitcoin, which is the primary indicator for this entire thing, it dipped here, touched the bottom, and it's starting to come back over and maybe touch the bottom or take off from here. Now, if you look at my previous videos that I've talked about, I expected this move. This move was a completely expected move from Bitcoin. This is a move that I expect in what appears as a fractal in this range here. I'm sorry, my bird is making this noise, and I need to find another place for him, like a closet or something, when I'm doing these videos. But I'm expecting this move here to be similar to this move here. I can expect one last quick wipeout of liquidity in this range up in here, which lines up with this dip here. I'll put up a fib line, and you can see it, what it is. So you got this purple line, which is in confluence with this range, right? This low end. Let me just stop this bird real quick, or at least silence it. All right, I'm back. I just had to close some doors and tell him to be quiet. I'm sure he's not going to listen, but we'll see how far we can get. So this is the lowest I expected. Honestly, I just can't see it really getting down here, but it wouldn't surprise me, right? And so that's that. All right, now we're going to look at the 4-hour time chart and see what I'm seeing here for Kin. So while the daily was making newer lows on its RSI, the 4-hour though is a little different. You can see that while the price is still making its downward trend, right? The RSI down here is now starting to make a higher low over here. So this low and this low are opposites of these. So this is lower than this low. This is higher than this low. So I see a lot of buying power that's starting to step in, and you can see volume has started to die out. It's probably majority of this volume is probably going to be selling volume, right? As you can see, all that red, and the volume that is starting in here is starting to be a lot more of a buying power. A lot more buying volume is starting to take in, right? So you see this RSI starting to change place. So the lower time frames, it's starting to turn into a bullish divergence. And then here in the bigger time frame, it's just saying that it's being oversold is what I'm saying. While there is a lower low here, as you can see in the price, the RSI is just showing that it is more in the oversold territory. So these are big flags for me, like green flags for me to pick up. Now that's what I'm doing, not necessarily what you are doing, because this is just entertainment purposes only. So then you may be asking, where exactly am I determining to sell my tokens? Well, the other day I said something about, swapping back out my tokens for, one's oversold than the other. So I swapped out some tokens for this, for Kin. And if I was interested in swapping it back out, I'd swap it up here if, the percentages are definitely skewed that Kin had a massive gain over the other token that I have, right? So I may consider doing some of that. But in the greater scheme of things, there are two different price targets that I have. I have a longer term, and I have a shorter term target point. So let me put off this RSI, and you can take a look at what I'm looking at. So everyone's got their own, how much time they're willing to wait. So I'm going to throw this on log to make this a little bit easier for us. So while I'm going to take this height, I'm going to show you where I see targets. And I'm going to pull up it to this low. Let's see if we can get this as close as possible to the low right here. All right, so I think that's good. So what I noticed here was that high to this low, this run up or this retrace was the 382 of the all-time high to now the new all-time low. So you have a 382 retrace, right? Typically that's called a dead cat bounce. So targets for, what most people are looking at, they're looking at 236, they're looking at 382 as a potential target. The 0.5 and all these other fib lines are all targets, are all good targets. And then so that's the longer term targets, right? So you can go in and sell off on any one of these targets. You can front run it, you can put it exact, you can put a little bit over. I've seen targets hit all over the place, but they're usually lined up with some form of fib line, and you'll see why and what I mean. So that's the dead cat bounce of this thing. And then you have a dead cat bounce of this guy, right? So you bring this guy down and make a low from high to its low. And you can see that it has another 382 dead cat bounce of this, along with couple 236s. So the target here was targeted here. First target, whenever these people bought up here, they targeted this 382, sold off. They may have reaccumulated here for whatever that fib line was. I mean, we can go ahead and take a look at what that was exactly, where they bought back in. Let's see. Run one from here. And that looks like they were buying back in at approximately the 786. If anyone knows what the 786 is, that's typically an oversold fib line. So historically, a 786 is the lowest fib line that you have. That people would buy in on as a good deal, right? So they bought that at a good deal. They front runned it. Someone knew what they were doing. Front runned it, and then they ran it back up. So what they ran it back up to? Dang it! I just erased it. Let me pull it up. Pull up that one. Get rid of this one. They ran it back up to the 236. So we had the 382. They bought the 786 of this move, and they ran it back up to the 236 of this move, right? So short-term targets, we have, again, the 236, 382, half, and all the way back up. But what if you sold too early, or what if you sold too late, right? You're like, how do I know when exactly to sell? Well, that's exactly when you would use this momentum indicator, which is the RSI. Usually in RSI, you'll see double peaks, right? Massive euphoric move up, followed by another a peak up to the right here that doesn't exactly beat out this top. So that's what you would typically see, especially on the daily. I mean, when you have a daily euphoric move like this and then gets met with like a second peak at the top, that's usually your sign of like, this is it. That's pretty much the top, right? But the point to be selling would have been this euphoric move, all right? There was probably some kind of fib that they used to figure out what this target was. If you broke it down into the hourly, you probably can see that the RSI is also weakening on the hourly, and they're getting the same signals here. So while this is the daily chart, this RSI applies down to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15 minute. You can do the exact same techniques for all time charts, right? But if you're trying to trade just a 15 minute, you may trade and you may get out on a 15 minute, see a small retrace, and the daily is still sitting down here. It hasn't even had a euphoric move yet. And then this thing just go ahead and pumps like 500%. You're like, wow, what did I do? I listened to Bad Dad and said something about, this RSI. Well, there's RSIs on all time charts. You have to play one or the other. If you're going to play the longer time scale, then you need to be just using the hour, 4-hour, and daily time charts. That's it. So your targets now become much larger, right? Grander scheme of things. It becomes not these small, quick profits. So you have to have some kind of patience, right? If you're impatient, then you want to play the 15-minute and don't complain when this thing goes off and takes off and makes another 400%, gain. It's because you're playing the shorter time scale. That's what you need to stick with, right? And once it takes off, it's gone. That's it. There's nothing you can do about it. You have to be able to accept your choices. That's what you're willing to do. And that may be your tactic. Like you completely understand it, and that's okay. But as long as people understand this, then that's great, right? If they don't, they need to be going back through and listening to what I've said about different times. I mean, you have massive whales who are buying this daily low RSI. They're buying this. They're not looking to sell here, right? They're not looking to sell here. They're not looking to sell here. They're waiting for this RSI to peg back out, just like here and here and here and here, before they decide that they want to start taking profit. And when you have a daily time scale starting to look bearish, every time scale that's underneath it, the 4 hours, 1 hour, while they might be looking like they've hit the bottom here in the RSI, like let's pull up a 5-minute, right? Okay, it looks bullish here. So people are like, oh, it's too bullish. I'm not going to buy in. I'm going to wait till it dips down here. Well, at any moment, this daily move here can just straight up skyrocket and send this thing pegged out to the 90s, and it just lingers up there and just kind of like moves and never really ever comes back down here. And by the time it does, it's already made 300% gains. And now you're buying what you assume as the dip, right? Anyways, my time is running short, so if I hope that was clear. If it was confusing, leave some comments down below. I'll definitely like to expand upon what I talked about today if you guys have any questions. But anyways, this is not financial advice. It's all entertainment purposes only. And today I was the pig that did buy this sale, this flash sale that came and offered me a second opportunity at a great coin. I love this coin. It's one of a couple coins that I do love, and it does have regulatory clarity. It already has filed. They've been sued against with the SEC. So even if regulation stepped in tomorrow, when people start looking for exits, I wonder where they're coming to, right? That has to come in the back of your mind. I wonder where they're going. What coin or what asset, or are they just going to completely go out in fiat, which is just blowing up with inflation? What asset are they trying to run back into? Is it Tether? Is it USDC? Is it Ken? Is it XRP? I don't know. Is it an NFT, or is it Doge or Shiba or Ethereum, right? What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below, and please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Really appreciate you guys tuning in and leaving comments behind. It does kind of give me some motivation to keep on building more videos. So, all right, you all take care. Bye.